More than just Outlander, Sam, Heughan and Caitriona Balfe reveal their real-life love. On a late afternoon in May in Edinburgh, the warm sunlight streamed through the stained glass windows of the old cafe, the Elephant and the Castle, where the two famous actors Sam Heughan and Caitriona Balfe, known from the hit series Outlander, sat across from each other, cappuccinos in hand, eyes full of meaning. Rumors that they were more than friends had long circulated among their fan base, but had never been confirmed. Today, they decided that rumors are no longer rumors. Caitriona smiled softly, her eyes sparkling as she looked at Sam. Sam returned the look with affection, and he pulled his chair a little closer. The cafe seemed peaceful, soft jazz music playing and the scent of freshly roasted coffee beans filling the air. They took a deep breath, then said together, "We thought this moment would come another day," Caitriona began. "But then we realized there was no point in waiting." Sam nodded, crossed his arms, and looked into her eyes. "We wanted to share with everyone, especially those who have supported us from the beginning, that there is a real connection between us." There was a long silence, then Caitriona continued, "Just saying, we are dating, is probably not enough to describe this feeling. Sam and I have been through so much more. We have been through ups and downs, faced the pressures of fame together, grown up together. And today, I want to say, I feel like I have found someone, not just a companion on screen, but a partner in life." Sam bowed his head slightly, his voice warm and full of emotion as he said, "I knew how lucky I was to have Caitriona by my side. We kept quiet about it because, to be honest, we were afraid. We were afraid that once we spoke out, people would see us as a PR stunt and leave. But then we realized, if we were afraid, the truth would be lost, and that would be a bigger loss. So, here today, we want to say, this is no longer a rumor. This is the truth." The afternoon sun danced on Caitriona's hair as she tilted her head slightly, placing her hand on Sam's. "We decided that we would write a new chapter together. There were difficult times, the round-the-clock filming schedules, the distance, the press coverage, but in all those moments, it was our trust and our long-standing friendship that got us through." Sam holds her hand tightly. "We want people to understand that love isn't always like it looks on screen. It's not always glamorous every second, but it's the simplest moments that mean the most. Like when Caitriona laughs out loud at something silly I say, or when she sits watching me work out and just says, 'I'm fine.' I want to thank Caitriona for everything, for her patience, for her trust, and for her friendship." Caitriona wipes the corner of her eyes, then smiles. "At first, when we started to feel more than friends, we were worried. I remember one night after we finished filming a very emotional scene, Sam came to the fruit in the kitchen, looked at me, and said, 'Caitriona, if you want to give up, just say so. I'm here.' I've never felt safer, and I knew I didn't want to give up." Hearing this, Sam laughed softly, "And then I told you, you leave me alone, I won't leave." Both of them laughed loudly, their faces beaming. A few people in the bar turned to look, but no one seemed to make a sound. They even seemed to sense that special moment, the moment when a famous couple chose to quietly announce a part of their life to the world, without fanfare, without noise, but with the simplest sincerity. Caitriona continued, "We don't want to say this is public, in the traditional sense. We want to say it is selective. Choosing to share with the people who have accompanied us, but not having to live by the words of others. If we are happy, if we feel enough, that's the most important thing." Sam takes a deep breath and says, "And today, we're ready to tell everyone, our fans, our colleagues, anyone, that we're together. And that we're truly grateful for all the support. But most of all, we're grateful for each other." He looks at Caitriona affectionately. "You're the best companion I've ever had." Caitriona kisses Sam lightly on the cheek before saying, and you're my friend, the one who made me believe that love isn't a distant promise, it's a connection every day. 2 years ago, rewind 2 years to when the two were filming the next season of Outlander in Scotland. Between juggling busy schedules, the ups and downs of fame, the anticipation of fans and paparazzi, the two found each other in the midst of chaos. Sam and Caitriona shared late-night conversations about family, about simple wishes, a cozy dinner, a day strolled along the shore of Loch Lomond, a book and a cup of tea. They gradually realized that between them there was no single supporting profession, it was the depth of deep information. Once, after an extremely long day of filming and the rainy autumn weather when the filming had to stop, Sam looked out the window of the break room and said, "Caitriona, do you want to go for a walk?" She smiled, nodded, and the two of them stepped out in their coats. Gently falling, the cobblestones were wiped but not their footsteps. Sam pulled her hand, pointed at the yacht drifting on the lake, and said, "Look, it's still drifting, even though it's raining outside." Caitriona looked and said, "Maybe we're like that boat, drifting between the scenes, between the lights, between the noise, but still finding each other." Since solving the problem, there was an agreement in their hearts. They wouldn't let the rumors out there decide them, they would choose their own path. The decisive moment, after the end of a season, the two decided to spend a week in the Highlands. No reporters, no flash, just them, a small wooden cabin, and the vast nature. They walked, rode, shared untold stories, about their childhoods, about rejections, about how they overcame the pressure to get to this film. On the fourth day, Sam suddenly knelt before Caitriona on the shore of a lake, where the only sound was falling leaves and the water rippled. He said, "Do you want to spend the rest of your life with me? Not under the spotlight, but in real life, real and ordinary." Caitriona burst into tears, not out of fear, but out of emotion. She held his hand and said, "Yes, I do." And that was the moment they decided, if they were ever going to announce it, it would be as themselves, not as a media stunt. The challenge and the decision to go public, keeping quiet once helped them avoid unnecessary pressure, but it also made them feel like they were living two different lives, one in front of the camera, one behind the scenes. Rumors still spread. They go together, they love each other, they will get married. Sometimes they laughed it off, sometimes they sighed. Sam recalls, "I read an article that said, Sam and Caitriona, secret behind the scenes. I thought, if they wrote, secret, it means we are living in the dark. But what I want is, to live in the light, with the truth." Caitriona shares, "We don't want to disappoint our fans. We know that some will be excited, some will wonder why we are only speaking now. But we think, it's better to speak at our own time, not at the time of others." They decided to tell their producers, colleagues and media company, and finally chose a quiet morning to announce it. Not with a big post, but with a short post on the personal page, with a photo of them holding hands, their backs to the camera, looking out at a long road, the sunset reflected in the background. The simple caption, "We, Sam and Caitriona, choose to move forward together." The post received hundreds of thousands of likes, and more, sincere blessings from fans everywhere. Reactions and new things. The reaction from the fan community was almost immediate. There were well wishes, and people said they were happy that the truth was finally told. One wrote, "I loved Outlander because of their chemistry, and now that I know they have a real connection, I feel happy." Another confided, "I thought it was just acting, but it turned out to be a beautiful story." Sam and Caitriona read every comment, though not all of them, and felt supported. This made them feel more secure in sharing their lives together, not a fling, but a gentle but lasting commitment. They started posting pictures of themselves traveling together, attending charity events together, fighting online celebrity boycotts, but more importantly, they kept the necessary privacy. Caitriona explains, "We still need to keep our own space, where it's just the two of us. Because if we share everything, the so-called truth will be exploited, it will become a commercial product. We want this love to be cared for, to be protected." Sam adds, "We still stick to the same principle. Film is work, love is a choice, and that choice belongs to us." Looking forward, they started planning for the future, not the big wedding kind, but the simple ones, buying a small house in Scotland with a view of a lake and pine forest, taking at least one trip a year together without cameras, without an agenda, just the two of them and nature, and setting up a small foundation to support young artists in Scotland, because that's where they started. Sam says, "I want to help young people, people like us, to have opportunities, not to be left behind." Caitriona replies, "And I want to help them understand, friendship, solidarity, and gratitude are timeless. But there are challenges ahead: international media attention, protecting privacy, and dealing with the new rumors that arise when they ride in the same car, or have dinner with other colleagues, for example, but rather than shy away from them, they decide to handle them like adults, clearly, gently, and within limits. When people see us, they will see two people in love, but also two independent individuals who have chosen to be together," says Caitriona. Sam nods. "We don't want to be confused. Love doesn't mean losing ourselves. On the contrary, it's about finding ourselves and choosing each other." Quote,